Nigeria's creative sector has the potential to be the country's largest export, and this was made known at the Africa Creative Market Summit in Lagos, which is geared towards improving intellectual property rights. Now, the annual event hopes to help improve the country's GDP by placing emphasis on the economic output of the creative industry.
This is the second edition of the Africa Creative Market, an annual event that brings together key players from the international and local creative industry, intellectual property lawyers, emerging talents, and officials from the United States government. The discussion centers on ways creators can protect their intellectual property and harness the dynamic trends in technology.
Being able to say, this is what the value is, and owning it in its entirety.
Keynote speaker at the event noted that despite the deposit of creativity and content creation in Nigeria, motion picture and music recording accounted for roughly 154 billion of Nigeria's GDP in 2023. This is low when compared to that of telecommunications and information services, which stood at about 2.8 trillion naira.
Our ability as Nigerians and indeed as Africans to innovate, attract investments, and build our own business and market ecosystem for the creative sector hinges on getting our intellectual property system right. And in a world that is rapidly evolving into a digital and knowledge-driven economy, intellectual property does and must take center stage.
The U.S. government wants the federal government to engender a strong legal framework for intellectual property rights regimes that will attract investment and enable Nigeria's creative sector add about $100 billion to the country's GDP by 2030.
This enables firms, including innovative startups, to navigate the perilous process of transforming a creative work into a commercially viable product and to successfully compete in the global marketplace. A strong system of IP rights assures inventors, industrial designers, and creative artists that their ideas will be protected.
In the creative industry, you can see that a lot of people have suffered when it comes to their intellectual property and infringement of their different kinds of rights. So this kind of conferences, especially that is focusing on the creative industry, I think is going to go a long way in correcting some of the wrongs that have been done in the past.
As part of efforts to facilitate value exchange between Africa's creative sector and the world, the Africa Creative Market Summit explores ways of safeguarding the intellectual property of creators and harnessing the power of technology.